My name is Ian Radisky, and today I'm going to be teaching you a lesson on Leave No Trace Fire Building. Now, the key points I'd like you to take away from this video are what a fire pan is, what deadened down means, and why you should burn to ash when having a fire in the wilderness. Now, the first thing you need to know about building a fire in the wilderness are the fire codes and laws or restrictions on whether or not you can have a fire in the area that you're working in. If it's going to be damaging to the area for the materials that you remove in order to build a fire and in order to have it, as well as if you have the right materials and the skill and knowledge and able to build a fire. Now, deadened down means basically that when you go out searching for wood and materials to burn, you can't cut down trees or use hatchets or saws. It's got to be able to be picked up off the ground and brought back, and it can be no bigger than your wrist, and it has to be breakable by hand. But deadened down means that it needs to be brown, not alive, not wet, not moist, but dead. And now, moving on to the second point of no bigger than your wrist, I have the materials laid out here. This is obviously bigger than my wrist and not breakable by hand, but this branch right here I can break off and is usable because it's no bigger than my wrist. I have some other materials that are great for burning. All were deadened down, none had to be cut off. They're all brown and ready to go. And I collected from a wide area. It's not damaging at all. And I just broke it up in even smaller pieces. As you can see, it's just very breakable by nothing at all. And over here I have a small fire going that I used with the same materials. It's burning down to ash. It's paper thin. It's going to be disappearing as it goes. And if it doesn't and I was in the wilderness, I would have to pack it up and carry out any ashes with me that were left. And that didn't burn to ash. I'd have to rescatter all this unused wood that I have and put it back. But if you don't have a fire pan in the wilderness, which is what this is, you can substitute it for those little aluminum turkey pans that they have at Walmart that I think are less than $1. Or you can go out and buy an actual fire pan. This is a portable campfire pit that I sometimes use often in and around camping and in the wilderness. But if you don't have that or a pre-existing fireplace in the area, such as the camp or the trail that you're hiking on, and the ground is suitable for it, you can build a mound fire, which basically you take clumps of dirt like this, or sand and rocks and mud, and build a small fire pit to encase it. But again, you have to check the local restrictions and laws on that. Now, to kind of recap some of the major points that I had throughout this lesson, when building a fire, you first have to identify if you have the proper materials and skill and knowledge in order to build it, which I said again is very important when building a fire, because if you don't have it, you can cause serious damage and destruction to the area that you're in. The second key point that I had for you to take away from this was deadened down. And as you can see, there's a very clear distinction between green leaves that are still living and close to the ground, as well as the dead brown leaves that you can just scoop up and crunch in your hands, just like some kind of Rice Krispie treats and stuff like that. And then the third point that I wanted you to take away from this is why you need to burn to ash before you leave. If you use stuff that are bigger than your wrist or too wet and it doesn't burn down, there's a chance that it can stay embered and end up causing more harm when you leave. So that's why you need to stay and either make sure that you can put out the fire and pack out the materials, or it's going to burn down to ash and no longer affect the environment that you're in. I'd like to thank you all for watching this video on my Leave No Trace Fire Building, and stay safe out there.